Hello guys, in this video we will see how to batch replace multiple smart object layers in a mockup template. Your mockup may have 3 smart object layers, 4 smart object layer, 5, 6, 7 smart object layer. The process that you are about to learn in this video will work with all kind of mockup template with n number of smart object layers. The most awaited and requested feature of working with multiple smart object layers is now available with Bulk Mockup. We'll be using Bulk Mockup Photoshop plugin to batch replace multiple smart object layers. This video is continuation of the previous video, how to batch replace smart object layers. If you haven't watched that video, go watch that video and learn more about Bulk Mockup. In this video, we'll be diving in how to batch replace multiple smart object layers. So for this demo, I'll be using this frame mockup template which has 3 smart object layers. I also have around 15 artworks that will be placed onto this smart object layers. To work with multiple smart object layers, first thing is to prepare and edit your mockup template. So I'll open this mockup template in Photoshop. There you go. Once you open, your first task is to identify the smart object layer that is responsible for changing the design. In our case, the layer structure is quite simple and we can see we have 3 smart object layers, the name Art1, Art2 and Art3. Art1 is responsible for changing the design on the extreme left, Art2 for the center artwork, and Art3 for the extreme right artwork. So if you remember the working of Bulk Mockup, it opens the mockup template and it looks out for a smart object layer with the name @design. In our example, we do not have any layer with the name @design. So your first task is go and make one smart object layer as your main smart object layer and rename it as @design. Now this is our main smart object layer with the name @design. Also take a note of the other 2 smart object layer names. This will come handy in our next step. The next step is to prepare your design folder. Let me open the design folder that we have. For this demo, we have this artwork folder and it has 15 artworks with them. And we have 3 smart object layer. So your task is to separate these artworks into 3 groups. So I'll create 2 new folders. I'll name it Art2 and the other folder I'll name it as Art3. It is very important that the folder name that you give is exactly the same as the other 2 smart object layers. Now I'll put 5 artworks in Art2 folder and then I'll put 5 artworks in Art3 folder. Now you can see our artwork is divided into 3 groups. We have 5 artworks at the artwork folder which is outside any subfolders, and then we have Art2 which has 5 images and Art3 which has 5 images. So as you could clearly say, these 5 artworks will go inside this @design smart object layers. These 5 which are inside Art2 will go in Art2 smart object layer, and Art3 we have 5 artworks which will go in Art3 smart object layers. So this is how you prepare your artwork folders. Now let us batch replace our mockups. We'll go to Bulk Mockup. The first option is PSD template folder. I will select our template. The next option is design file folder. We'll select our artwork folder. And then we have process subfolder. First level only, we do not check this, but we'll check process multiple smart object layers. So when we click process multiple smart object layers, Bulk Mockup will automatically identify number of subfolder inside this location. So if you look at this artwork folder, it has 2 subfolders. So Bulk Mockup already knows when it will open the mockup template, it has to look out for 3 smart object layers. If there were 4 subfolders, Bulk Mockup would know that I need to look out for 5 smart object layers. So the number of subfolder gives indication to Bulk Mockup how many smart object layer it is supposed to work on. So let us move forward. Then we have the export location. We'll go back and create an export location folder. So we'll create export, create, open. Now we can go ahead and click on start generating and see the magic. So Bulk Mockup will open the frame template and then it will work on the first smart object layer. rectangle.1.psp. We can open the export location and see how it is working out. So this is our export location, and I'll keep it over here. So we have our first output, 3 artworks played into 3 smart object layers. So Bulk Mockup has done its job. We have our output, 5 output with 15 artworks. So this is how Bulk Mockup multiple smart object feature works. Now let me explain the Bulk Mockup logic behind multiple smart object feature. Once you understand the logic, you'll get the best use of this multiple smart object feature in your workflow. So how Bulk Mockup multiple smart object feature works is, we had 2 subfolders. So Bulk Mockup already knows that is supposed to work on 3 smart object layers. If you have 4 subfolders, Bulk Mockup would know that it has to look out for 5 smart object layer. So this is the first step. So next step is number of repetition. How many times Bulk Mockup would execute? So the number of repetition is determined by the number of design files in the main root folder. In our example, we had 5 artworks in our main root folder. So Bulk Mockup would work out 5 times. If we delete these 2 files, we have only 3 artworks. So Bulk Mockup would only run 3 times. So we'll get only 3 outputs. Let me press Ctrl Z and bring back our design file. Now the other question that you might have, what happens when files are not equally distributed? Here we have 5 artwork for @design smart object layer. In R2, I have deleted 3 artworks and we only have 2 artworks for R2 smart object layer. And R3, again we had 5 artworks. Now we'll go to Bulk Mockup. All the settings are already there. So I'll just click on Start Generating. Here is our first output. So Bulk Mockup has done its job again. So take a closer look at the output that we have. We had 5 artworks in the main root folder. So you have 5 output, which I mentioned. Number of repetition that Bulk Mockup would work is determined by the number of artworks in the main root folder. So if you take a closer look at the exported files, the first artwork in the extreme left, which was controlled by @design smart object layer, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 distinct artworks. Now take a look at the center artwork. It was controlled by the R2 smart object layer. So R2 smart object layer had only 2 artworks. We have the first artwork from the R2 folder. In the second export, we have R2 of the R2 folder. Then the second artwork gets repeated. It is repeated here. Then also in the fourth one, the artwork is repeated. Also in the fifth one, the artwork is repeated. So if there are unequal number of artworks, the last artwork will get repeated. The next question is, what happens if a folder is empty? If the artwork folder is empty, Bulk Mockup will skip that folder. So the next question is, how Bulk Mockup picks up the design? So Bulk Mockup picks up the design by ascending order. So for example, when it goes to the artwork folder, it will first sequence all your design files into ascending order. So it will pick up the first design file from the root folder. Then it will open the R2 folder. Again, it will pick up the design as an ascending order. It will come to this one and it will pick up. Then it will go to the third folder. Again, it will pick up the first design from ascending order. In the next iteration, it will pick up the second design in ascending order. Likewise, it will continue and pick up designs in an ascending order. So if you want, you can rename your files in ascending order to give more discrete instruction for Bulk Mockup, which designs to pick first. So this is how multiple smart object feature of Bulk Mockup works. I demonstrated this on wallet mockup, but the same principle works for any kind of mockup template that has multiple smart object layers. Now go ahead and try Bulk Mockup multiple smart object feature. If you have any queries or suggestions, please email us at support@bulkmockup.com. Thank you for watching the video till the end.